Hi, Dr. Tracy, general pediatrician in Vermont. There's a slight little follow-up to my last video about why is your doctor always running behind. And I noticed that I mentioned what patients are in control over to be able to have the appointments run more smoothly. And what I didn't mention is actually what are things that we should be responsible for and how can we better show up for patients, and some of the things that don't always patients don't know is actually for that benefit. So some of the things that we can do as providers is to continue to respect patients' time, show up to clinic on time ourselves, try not to overbook ourselves, be more diligent when we can to get our paperwork done before and after clinic, just trying our best to kind of keep everything calm on our side. But some other things that we do that actually don't seem a kindness to families, but they are, is late policies. So late policies are actually helpful for patients. So if your doctor allows you to show up 20 minutes late and then you're still seen, that looks really bad to all the other people in the office who got there on time and then are waiting 30 minutes for their appointment because the doctor is seeing the patient who came in late. And so that is something that is very hard to do. Pediatricians in general are people pleasers. That is why we are in this field. We don't like to upset people. We certainly don't like to turn children away, because the added issue is that it's not a child's fault that they were late. They can cause parents to be late, but it's not technically their fault. So we're really bad about upholding these late policies. And yet we know that that's another reason why families are always running behind. And so we try really hard in my practice specifically, and I'm sure practices all over across the country, to be as on time as we can be, asking families to not be late. And if you've missed more than half of your appointment time for a chronic issue or a well visit, we just can't see you. If your child is sick, we will say, hang on just a second, let me see if I can find another spot. You may have to wait, but if there's another little break in the schedule, we'll try to see you. So we try not to turn away sick patients, but if it's a well visit or a chronic issue and you've missed more than half your appointment time, we will turn you away. And while that does upset families, it is 100% done out of respect for families' time, because we also know what it is like to come to an appointment on time and to sit there and wait. It's not fun. Another thing that we can do is to try and only schedule sick visits same day. That's another frustrating thing for families when they don't understand the reason behind it. Pediatrics is same day medicine. Kids get sick and they need to be seen within a day or so, but they also get well just as quickly as they get sick. So if you call your pediatrician at 9 o'clock in the morning on a Monday for a fever and an earache, and they don't have an appointment until the next day, they're likely not going to make you an appointment for the next day. They're going to ask you to call back. And the reason why is because there is an extremely high percentage of patients who are already better the next day or got worse and had to go to urgent care that night, and then they don't show up for their appointment the next day. And then that's a space that someone else could have been put in that allowed the schedule to kind of move the way it was supposed to. So no-show appointments are something we work really hard to try to prevent as well. A, we want to have availability for sick kids, and B, we want to make sure that we stay on time as much as humanly possible. And so just understanding how those two things work, why we do them, why we might not always uphold them. If we're not upholding them, there's a good reason. So if you're sitting in an office and you see someone coming in late and your pediatrician's office still sees them, we do want to know if it's frustrating for you. We want to know how it feels to be on the other side of the glass. But a lot of times it's because we know that family. We know they may have transportation issues. They may have a child who has extreme anxiety coming in. And while we all have issues, if we know what's going on, we're so much less likely to turn them away. So I hope this helps kind of humanize this process, as well as humanize your doctor and the medical staff that work there. Another thing to remember is the doctors or administrators, not every doctor is an administrator, but if a doctor is a practice owner like I am, I'm in charge of what the front desk staff does, and I'm in charge of what the nursing staff does. And so please, please, please understand they're just doing their job, and they're just doing what the policies are put in place by administrators or the doctors have asked them to do. So be kind, but also let us know if there's a problem. So this goes both ways. I hope this helped. If anybody has any questions about how any of this works, if you can't tell, I'm a pretty open book. I think this should be really open. I don't think any of this should be hidden or not talked about. And so if you have any questions about how things work or comments, please leave them. Bye, have a great day.